I don't know about you, but there's nothing I hate more than having the wool pulled over my eyes, and that's exactly what I feel is happening with this story. There's a lot to be suspicious about, especially when you see the incredible video clip I've been sent by a local resident, which is coming up later in this video. So a couple of days ago I put out this video about a beach house in New Zealand that had burnt down, and that it was alleged that it was caused by some kind of electric vehicle. Initial reports from the media quoted eyewitnesses who said the fire started in the EV, which then spread to the garage and subsequently to the rest of the house. But then later on the media changed their story and said that the EV was not to blame. So let's dig into this a bit further and see if we can get to the truth. If you're looking for EV and net zero sanity, you're in the right place. If you like this kind of content, it'd be great to have you as a subscriber, and don't forget to enable all notifications so you never miss another episode. So the initial media reports indicated that some kind of EV was responsible for the start of the fire. NewsHub says Fire and Emergency New Zealand hasn't confirmed the cause of the fire, but neighbours told NewsHub the fire started while an electric car was charging in the garage. One News said a witness told One News that the initial fire started in the garage where a hybrid car was parked. And also the New Zealand Herald repeated that information, saying that a witness told One News that the initial fire started in the garage where a hybrid car was parked. And then there's this grab from a TV news segment in New Zealand which basically says the same.
The house burnt down today at Cook's Beach in the Coromandel, with reports the fire started in a garage where an EV was parked.
A blazing inferno that locals say was caused by an electric car catching fire while charging in the garage.
So all of these media outlets are basically saying the same thing. Eyewitnesses who were on the scene when the fire started said that it was caused by an EV with the fire spreading to a garage. But then 2 days later, on the 18th of December, the New Zealand Herald put out another article saying this. Social media posts and a media outlet then reported a witness as saying the fire had been started by an EV, electric vehicle, in the home's garage. But Fire and Emergency New Zealand, FENZ, investigator Ed Hopping said that this was not the case. The investigation is still ongoing, but I'm comfortable to put it out there in the world that the fire wasn't a result of the battery in the car failing, Hopping said. He said the fire started within the home while the car was parked outside the garage and was not plugged in for charging at the time. It's just important to put out there that hybrid cars aren't that vulnerable to fires, Hopping said. And then in this instance, the car wasn't plugged in and wasn't inside the garage or the structure. Based on Fenn's experience so far, he said it isn't common for fires to be started by electric vehicles in New Zealand. So I'm glad we're getting all the key points of the message out in this article. So being the pain in the arse that I am, I emailed the Fire and Emergency New Zealand media office with the following questions. Multiple eyewitness reports claim that a fire started in a hybrid vehicle that was parked outside the garage, and initial media reports also indicated this, e.g. fire destroys house at Cook's Beach, Coromandel. That was a New Zealand Herald article. However, a subsequent report in the New Zealand Herald states, and I just quote the same thing I've just read, how was the investigator able to conclude so quickly and before the investigation was complete that the fire was not a result of a hybrid battery fire? Please kindly supply the basis on which this conclusion was reached, i.e. evidence of the fire starting elsewhere within the property. Thanks and regards, Simon. And the reply I got was a bit cryptic. It didn't answer any of the questions directly that I'd asked, but it just referred me to another media article. Kia ora, Simon. Further quotes were provided in this story. Link. The 3 quotes to note. I can't comment on the cause because the investigation is not yet completed, but I can say where it did not start, and that was in the garage. And the car did not have anything to do with it, and it was parked outside of the garage at the time. And it looks like the fire started at the rear of the property. It did not start where the car was. Okay, take mental note of that very carefully because it's going to be relevant in a minute. It's all very tidy, isn't it? Nothing to see here, folks. Please disperse.
Please disperse. Nothing to see here.
But take a look at this clip sent to me by one of my viewers. It's only about 4 seconds long, so I'll play it at full speed and then we'll go through it a bit more slowly. So as you can see, this video is very early on in the fire. The first responders aren't even there yet, and people are just standing around watching. You can see that the only part of the house where smoke is coming from is the section where the car and the garage are. The rest of the house is not involved at all at this point. You can see that quite clearly from the plume of smoke. it's in front of the rest of the house. And as we get closer, we can see that the garage itself is on fire. The car, which is, I understand, a Mitsubishi plug-in hybrid, is also on fire. And the edges of the garage are on fire, and the car. But there's no sign of the rest of the house being involved at this stage. And I don't see any evidence of the fire having started at the rear of the property, which is completely out of sight compared to this view. Also, if we take a look at this drone footage here, when the house is completely ablaze, I'm just going to stop it here. And you can see where the fire brigade are down in this left-hand side. That's where the previous video was being taken from, looking in down this driveway to the garage and where the car was parked. So going back to this video, you can see that the main part of the house, which is here, is not involved yet. This building here is the house next door, and this is the main part of the building. And it's not even involved. It's only the car and garage that are on fire right now. So for them to say that it started at the rear just doesn't make sense with the evidence. So let me know in the comments what you think. If you're a neighbor or you live around here, this area, and you have any information you want to share, hit me up on Instagram or by email, because I really want to get to the bottom of this story. I'm perfectly happy to accept that this may not have been started by an EV, and if not, brilliant. What I really, really hate is having the wool pulled over my eyes by media outlets determined to push a particular message rather than be truthful with the facts. So if you can help me get to the bottom of this, I'd be really grateful. Anyway, that's just about it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. As I say, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the reporting and how it fits with that video. And if you do have any information to share on this story, hit me up on Instagram or by email. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.